Hi, dear students. Welcome back to another session of Human Resource Management. This is the session of 38 that where we are come across to discuss on the topic recruitment policy. I hope all are doing well. With that satisfaction, let me start this session of 38. It's on recruitment policy. In the previous session that we discussed about recruitment process, that how an organization or the company come across the recruitment process, and then how they are going to do a recruitment process, and then doing that process, as far as my knowledge is concerned, the organization and the companies, either it may be they are from private or public sector, they have to follow, and then they must follow the policies of the recruitment. Otherwise, I don't think so that doing recruitment is the process that which is not scientifically one. If it is scientifically one, the recruitment policy will always helps towards the recruitment. Let's start this session of 38 on the topic recruitment policy, and then what it is all about. Our recruitment policy specifies the objectives of recruitment and provides a framework for the implementation of the recruitment program. According to Yoder, a recruitment policy may involve commitment to broad principles such as filling vacancies with the qualified individuals. This thinker, particularly Yoder, Yoder, mentioned in his statement that, and in his perception is that fill that vacancies while doing the recruitment. The only thing is that we have to be specified the what type of recruitment that we are undergone, and at the same time qualified individuals must be filling to that vacancies. According to that issue, we have to maintain a little bit of the commitment principles, or we have to commit that principle where if that the process of recruitment is going to done, qualified individuals or qualified candidates are appointed, then the organization may reach towards growth, which will always compete to the world market, not only stick to the domestic market. This is how the recruitment policy is always supporting to the recruitment and then selection. It may embrace several issues such as extent of promotion from within, or attitudes or enterprise in recruiting its old employees, or handicaps, minority groups, women employees, part-time employees, friends and relatives of present employees, etc. So this is what the things could be while doing the recruitment. It may get a little bit of confusion, or you may get scratch your head, because while doing the scratch your head, when it comes the matter of that attitude of that enterprises is looking towards or recruiting towards old employees, handicaps, minority groups, women employees, part-time employees, and other friends and relatives, because these handicaps and then minority groups, women employees are considered to be a special category. Under that special category, the policy must be support towards a recruitment process. Otherwise, policy, if it is not strong, I don't think so that we will have that much of strongness in our recruitment. As far as my knowledge is concerned, I read in my Masters of Economics there in Columbia University. As I'm studying, usually went to the library. I used to read books which are written by many foreign authors. There I found one quote that the policies is just like a javelin throw. If that is the case in India or in other parts of the country, or you may take it for the other parts of the abroad, I don't think so that we will do prominent work of the process of recruitment. The policy must be strong. It should not be like a javelin throw, because javelin throw will if it is policies is like a javelin throw, where it will not, where it is facilitate, and then where the what you call a little bit of moisture mud is there it will not. But the thing is entirely the recruitment process may be collapse if you are not having the strong recruitment policy. So with this is how the recruitment policy has to be done, and then with the help of that policy, how human requirements may be appointed from that organization. It may also involve the organization system to be developed for implementing requirement program and procedures to be employed. This requirement policy outlines the principles and then process related to the recruitment of both internal and then external candidates. Either he may be from your state or he may be from the out of states. We have to be considered very much seriously, because according to the notification of that job process, they applied for it. And then considering the fact of the internal and then external to position new recruitment within a firm. The recruitment process may be ineffective in the absence of a structured policy. A well-defined recruitment policy helps the organization to respond to its human resource requirements in the time. The policy statement should be clear and concise. This is also very, very important from the point of view of the process of recruitment has to be taken place, because policy are not very much interested, policy are not supporting to get the available human resources or required human resources, then there is no mean at all. Developing a suitable recruitment policy is the first step in the efficient hiring process. This policy statement helps to ensure a sound recruitment process. This is what the things could be otherwise. If policy is not good, making the process of hiring the people or making the process of appointing or recruiting or selecting the candidates is a tough job while doing the process of recruitment. Moving on to the next slide, where there are many components that I have given, that what are those components that we followed in recruitment policy. Let's see one by one how we determine. A recruitment policy has some vital components which essentially contribute to the recruitment process and make it effective and error free. There are, I mentioned, many components are there. I don't want to elaborate in detail of these recruitment policies, because there are 7 components are there, and the next are in the next slide there are the organization policies also mentioned in my next PPT. It's okay, I will come up with detailed information of that components of recruitment policy. First one is finalizing the general policies and terms regarding the recruitment. Recruitment services of consultants if sought by the organization, filling of temporary vacancies, as I said in the previous session, and then crash recruitment in demanding situation, which is also important. Drafting the selection process, which is very much important. Here I want to stick on to elaborate the issue that drafting the selection process is very much important, because if anything is happened, then we have to be make out the objection from the candidate, and then time duration we supposed to be give to make a objection for that drafting the selection process. And the next one is developing job descriptions. As I said in the previous sessions, the procedure of preparing a recruitment process should always follow the recruitment policy, where job specifications and then job description has to be made out. This is the one best component of recruitment policy. And then last but not it is least, defining employment terms and condition is also very much important, because if you are not going to mention the terms and condition of that employment, I don't think so the candidate will be get satisfaction out of that job. We must define it what the employment is all about, and then we must define it what are the natures and then what are the scope of this employment, and we must define it this employment is how much it is extended, what type of expansion and then contraction is there in that job. We have to be analyze it with these seven components. The recruitment policy are always followed by making with these factors. Moving on to the next slide, where I come across there are the recruitment policy of an organization needs. Say for example, as I mentioned in the previous one, this is the policy where the public sector and then private sector are followed these types of policy components. But here only organization needs how it could be in the recruitment process. With the help of recruitment policy, we will check it out. Number one is the focus on recruiting the best available talents, and also we must concentrate on the fresh candidates, or you may call it as freshers, to give and more opportunities to them, because they will compete to the workforce and then they will do their best. And also next one is to ensure that every candidate, internal or external, is treated equally with dignity and respect. Very much important, because some of the sectors in the organization, internal candidate may get more benefit and then external candidate not. But comparing to the internal and then external candidate, let us see that these policies will be always make balance between to see the whether the internal and then external candidates are treated equally, or dignity and then respect, and also with pride, whether it is followed or not. This is only from the help of recruitment policy. Next one, to make out an unbiased policy. This is very important, because if there is a biased policy, there is question of the what you call haves and then haves not has been started. If haves is there, and then they will start to make what you call ragging, or make the bossism over the haves not category. So see, if that this policy is as make an unbiased, then the question is all candidate must be under one roof, and then all candidate or employee must treated in a one way. This is the things that policy of the recruitment will helps to the organization or to the company. Next one is to encourage employees and help to unearth their hidden full potential, and to ensure transparency, task orientation, and merit based selection. This is also one important aspect, that where these types of transparency should be necessary, because if transparency is not there, I don't think so that job satisfaction to that candidate will be received in a positive manner. If that employee must always get job satisfaction to get a little bit of merit based selection. And also task orientation is there. If any task or any project given by the organization, and then that orientation has to be given by the organization, we should be look upon the transparency. Particularly they must ensure that there is a transparency, there is no such types of hide and seek or hidden agenda is there in that company or in that organization. And next one is to decide upon the what do you call upon the in my next slide I have taken many what do you call components of recruitment policy, particularly those organization needs to follow to decide upon the weightage of factors that suit organizational needs during the selection process. So see there, if the selection process is made up by the organization, and then they will give little bit of weightage to some factor where these special categories are to be concerned. Say for example, if that employee is a woman, or that employee is a handicapped one, or that employee is a what do you call any such types of minority, you may consider it, or age old service retired fellow, we have to be consider such types of employees to look upon these what do you call while we are going to give the weightages while we recruit the candidate. Particularly, we have to be adhere to this recruitment policy. And the next one is to optimize human resource needs at the time of selection is also one important aspect to be considered in recruitment policy, which will always see, which should not be pessimistic one, which is always optimistic one. To define the component authority to approve the selection process and tools. This is one best factor that where the authority must approve the selection process by making the tools, that what type of tools, that they, what type of technology they have incorporated. And then the ninth one is to conform to applicable public policy and legislation on hiring the employment relationship, and to have the what do you call issues relating to the public policy, particularly those who are following in the public sector or government sector in various department of that matter. And also legislation we have to be follow, because nonetheless if we are not having the legislation issue, I think there may be a interfering of what do you call the what do you call influence to kicked out the employee from that employment maybe happens in some organization. So public policy and then the legislation should be support each other, which will develop the employment relationship. And then last one is to establish congruency between employee needs to the organization needs, because if these types of congruency is not going to be made out with between employees and then organization, I don't think so that employee will work all together from morning to evening, or night shift, or afternoon shift, or morning shift, whatever you may call it, is depending upon the private sector and then public sector. But there is a mutual coordination must be necessary between employees and then organization, where these types of issues has to be considered, because I don't think so that if there are what do you call the employee behavior, employee attitude, or employee thinking level, which will varies with organization, then the factors of negativity will start. If the factor of negativity will start between the employee and then organization, the thing is it may decrease the level of production, it may decrease the effectiveness of the organization, and that organization will take a long time to reach to the growth, and which may not able to compete in the world market or in the international market. So there is a there not there is it must be there must be a mutual coordination between employees and then organization must be need. So in this factor, so this is how the recruitment policy is all about. These factors must be considered in government policy, sorry, in the recruitment policy. And also these recruitment policy are also maintained by government for that matter, because while preparing the notification, government is always adhere to this recruitment policy, because they won't need this job recruitment or this job notification. He'll directly go to the court. If that court is going to give what do you call a full clearance, then only it is possible to make recruitment. The full clearance, we know that the time duration will take more process. If the process take 2 or 3 years or 5 years, then the process of recruitment will start. If that notification filed in the court, then I don't think so that there is a much energy will be got by that candidate. They fight against the court and then get a good judgment towards him. So for that, the policy is necessary while doing the recruitment process. So with this, dear students, I will stop here. I have given many examples with making an elaborate explanation for this session. Obviously, in the last slide, I have taken many source of reference to collect all this information and then all this study material to make it out this PPT. So with this, I will stop here, my dear students. I will come up with a new topic in the new session. With this, bye bye.